We back on my channel. Welcome, guys, to Watch Your Mouth Reviews. This is your boy James, where I'm here to give my honest review while trying to watch my mouth. Not gonna happen this video, but that's all right. We'll live to fight another day. Joining me as always is my girl, Mrs. Best. I'll say what's up to her.
Hello, like and subscribe to the channel.
Yes, and while you're subscribing to my channel, go ahead and click on the link in my description box, which is also right here, to subscribe to Mrs. Best channel. Any reviews or recaps that I do not do on my channel, we cover on her channel, such as Love and Hip Hop and Basketball Wives, and also to come, Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, which I cannot wait. So you guys make sure if you want to see recaps like those, click on her subscription channel. Make sure you support my girl. And also, while you're at it, click on my channel. I know a lot of y'all watch me, but don't be subscribed to me. I never will understand it. It don't cost you nothing. I don't have a members live, a members only channel or anything on YouTube. It's just strictly free until the time being until I get me a Patreon. Then y'all want to follow me on that one. But in the meantime, we're here to talk about the Braxton season 1, episode 8. And before I go and describe this horrible episode, I just want to go online to say that this has been the worst season of the Braxtons that I have ever seen in my life. This was a horrible reboot, or whatever they want to call this. I feel like this did not do what they intended it to do. I feel like this was not placed the way they thought this was going to be placed. This was horrible. All 8 episodes were horrible. This is not how I want to remember the Braxtons. This is not how I did remember the Braxtons when I watched Braxton Family Values. I felt like this was a piss poor way to do a reality TV show. So, Mrs. Best, before we get into this episode, is there anything you want to add to that?
No, I agree. It sucked. There wasn't. It felt at the end of the day, it started to feel like they were trying to use Tracy's passing as a way for Tawanda and Trina and Mama E to make some money because it's apparent that Tamar and Tony do not need it right now. They are booked and busy. Um, I also feel like choosing to disclude her husband, like regardless on what Tracy left him and his history, you can't talk about Tracy without talking about who was important to her. So they just really dropped the ball. Don't ever let Tawana lead or control what goes on with the production. Vince Herbert, Tamar, Tony, them being executive producers makes sense because they have experience in the industry. Tawana, Trina, Mama E, they're really just riding the coattails of the siblings that are actually doing something. So I didn't like this. All it did was make me dislike Tawanda, who I really didn't have an issue with. I didn't care for her, but I feel like she's a snake in the grass and the worst type.
I agree. I felt like giving her this much power and control of the situation is what made me dislike the show altogether. I felt like you weren't honoring your sister. I felt like you made this complete show about you and your relationships with your sister, and then you try to make your youngest sister out to be the monster by being passive aggressive. That's how I feel. So I agree with you. I'm just so over this. So let me go over through this episode so we can get the hell out of here and go to my next live. So the show opens up with Tony's, residency in the rehearsal because later on in the episode, they're actually going to do the preview live of what the show is going to be about. So Tony, she is talking about her health issues. This is the first time she's been back on tour. And this also is the first time she's had a residency since her first one back in, I think it was '07 or '08, when she had a residency in Vegas and had to drop it due to health issues. So a lot of this is kind of reigniting trauma that she had previously before. And for me, I felt like I understood Tony in a way, but at the same time, once the doctors clear you to do something, we love you, Tony. We want the best for you. Although I still don't understand this residency, I still want it in some way to be successful. So I'm saying she's valid in her fears of how this is going to go, but overall, we just really want the best for Tony. Is there anything you want to add to this, Mrs. Best, before I move on?
No, I did not have many dams to share or give or any of that. But I wish her the best in her health. That's it.
Yes. So the theme moves on. We then go over to Trina. Trina's doing a YouTube channel with her husband. They're doing a cooking show, much similar to Tamar Braxton and Mama E on the what is that network called? Not Sling TV. It's the other one. That's they have pretty much they have a show on a like a YouTube esque, except it's a network kind of situation. So Trina invited Mama E over to as a guest to cook on the show, and it was a real big nothing scene because there was nothing we got out of it. There was nothing. All it was promoting that Trina has a cooking channel here on YouTube. I'm happy for her because everyone's taking advantage of the YouTube, bag and everything. And I can't, and I'm about to have some more YouTube channels, y'all. I'm about to start YouTubing it up here as well because I feel like, yeah, it is a bag and they still have not put any restrictions on how this is going to look. So, directly speaking, go Trina. I hope it goes successful. Was there anything you want to add about Miss E and Trina and the cooking show?
I don't think these people can actually cook, but no, I have nothing else to add.
Okay.
I
So
didn't
we
care for it. It was boring.
I didn't either. I thought I was like, okay, everyone's doing a cooking channel. And like I said, it's a YouTube bag. Everyone trying to get their YouTube bags. I get it. Another stream of income is definitely on horizons. I'm about to pick up a second gig. I get it. Times is hard, and then I'm about to start a second YouTube channel, and we'll see how that goes as well. I'm just, we trying to get it out here. Hey, Shayna, thank you for joining us today, love. Miss you. I need to go on your channel. I saw you had some new content. I need to go see what you're doing over there. But thank you for showing up, love. I appreciate you so much. Y'all subscribe to my girl, Shayna underscore MCD. She does a lot of these shows as well. She doesn't do the Braxtons, but I know she does cover a lot of our favorite shows like Love and Marriage Huntsville when that comes back. Shayna, what else do you do? Because that's the only one I really love. What I miss, but I want to get a second job too. Here's the thing. I picked up a little second because I had to. Like times is getting tough out here, Shane. It is. It's just getting tough. So yeah, I had to pick up a second one. So I'm gonna be on YouTube a lot less, but I'm about to get a second YouTube channel as well. I'm gonna do the movie reviews and the recap reviews separate because I'm hearing that that's a better fit because then people won't be confused on what they're really looking at. So we'll see. I haven't watched this season, but I love y'all. Oh, thank you, Shayna. We appreciate you. Y'all subscribe to my girl, Shayna underscore MCD. So, moving on, we have a thing with Tamar. She goes and sees a medium. Now, I'm not making this face because she went to go see a medium. I'm making the face because I felt like I'm used to seeing mediums being a little bit more dramatic than that. I don't know. I'm not expecting the Tyler guy from the EU Network channel to be, but I'm just to me, it just seems staged. I'm sorry. She may be great at what she does. She may be great at it, but it just felt staged to me. I'm sorry. But they, begin telling her, the medium, her manager Rob, and her makeup artist James, that her sisters had put out there that they were not in a great place before she passed, and Tamar did not know that. So they want the medium to bring Tamar, some ease about her relationship with Tracy. And the medium pretty much says that Tracy loves you very much. She's proud of you, and that she apologizes herself. And Tamar just felt like she has nothing to apologize about because Tamar took an accountability that she wasn't the best sister, she wasn't the best friend, she wasn't the best supportive person. And I felt like that's because Tamar was going through a lot herself. And you really can't support people when you're in the trenches yourself trying to get out of something that you got into. So I kind of felt for her in that moment because you could tell that was a real genuine moment for Tamar. Even though the medium looked suspect, you could tell that she really was pouring her heart out in that moment. And I appreciate seeing it. Mrs. Best, is there anything you wanted to add on there?
No, I don't really buy into mediums and stuff on TV. So, yeah.
All right. So next month I plan on doing Ready to Love. Oh, I might do that too. It depends on how. I have a lot of shows coming, y'all. I do have a lot of shows, so I do want because it looked interesting. I don't do Married at First Sight because I don't believe in that. Love is Blind, don't believe in that either. And the reason why I don't like Love is Blind is because I don't like Vanessa Manillo. I don't like her, so I'm not going to YouTube her channel. Queen's Court is going to be on Mrs. Best channel, so we're going to do Queen's Court on her channel when that comes. Um, so I'm excited about that one. But moving on from there, we have the first rehearsal. So how they set it up is that Tamar and Trina are going to be at the very first pre-live show, and then Tawana and Trina and Miss E are going to be at the second one. So that's how they split it up. So it's the day of the first one, and we're running through. And of course, Tony had to tell that old ridiculous joke about what do you call a bear with no teeth? And she said a gummy bear. And everybody was looking like, oh, okay, Tony, like this is not. Once again, it's confusing on what they're doing. I don't know what this residency is supposed to be about. So hands up, Tony sings "Unbreak My Heart." That's what we want to see. If nobody ever sees Tony Braxton in live, just know that the last song she usually does is "Unbreak My Heart." And when I tell you, hearing her sing it live, it touches you. It does. So if that's what hey, Joseph Felton, I have not seen you in a long time. Thank you for joining us. We appreciate you. Um, but if that's all that Tony's, if she's gonna do that song, then I think it's worth seeing it. Honestly, I'm telling you, I get chills every time she sings that song live. So, Mrs. Best, how did you feel that the first show went?
I'm still not bought into this show. I'm just not. Like Trina said, we want to see Tony Braxton sing. We want to hear Cedric tell some jokes. That's it, and that's all. So
I felt
that's
like why they didn't just do a stage play?
a play could have worked, or I mean, it's Vegas. They could have done a variety show. There's a lot that they could have done, but sometimes I'm just like, I don't understand why she pushes herself so hard if she understands her limitations. Uh, I don't know. I don't care for the show. I've seen them advertise it actually, oddly, on Instagram earlier today in
Okay.
between stories. So it looks like they're going to have an October 18th and 19th show and then another one in November. And I think those are the last shows, but they're advertising it. But
So
then
it's
she
not a
said,
full time residency. It's just
but
a.
Tony said it's a couple of weeks. So I'm
That's what I
confused.
thought.
But then when Silk Sonic was in Vegas, they did something similar. Then they ended up
Um,
getting extended. The same thing happened with Usher originally. So it could have changed, but I don't know. They're sponsoring it on Instagram now, so that leads me to believe maybe sales are low for tickets. But I don't know. It's at the
Well,
Cosmo.
because I think
Cosmo.
people don't understand the concept, and they did a horrible. Even on this show, they did a horrible job really explaining the concept of what it is. Like we understand it's a comedy show mixed with Tony Braxton. That's a weird combination, all within itself, because we know one is a singer who is, has 100 Grammys, and we know one's a king of comedy. How does that mix? Like they're not really giving. They should have had a commercial and really gave us a concept of what this is going to be. Because I do love them both equally, but it just doesn't seem like they really put in hand what this is supposed to be. So that's why I'm confused and I don't know what I'm supposed to be looking at.
Right, Joseph, because she told a straight dad joke. That's exactly what it was. I was cringing. And I like even the corniness and her being bad at the joke was not funny. Like I did not laugh at all. I was not looking or expecting like a great laugh, but I didn't find it funny at all. But she can sing and I want her to stick to that.
That's why I said like I wish they should just I'm telling you, they should do like a stage play, like a Tyler Perry as stage play. I think that would have been better because Tony could still sing. She can act. Like she has her Lifetime movies are good. She can act. So I think maybe they should have went in that route versus this because this is once again confusing. And Tony with these jokes, I was not feeling good. But moving on from here, we have a dinner scene with Tawana, Trina, and Miss E. And basically, what they're saying is that they're going to see the second show, but the producers asked Tawana and Trina to come on stage with Cedric. And they don't know what it's going to be about, but Trina says she's nervous. and they, so they're going to see what it is. And once we get to the show, what we understand it to be is that they were just doing like a subsequent interview with Cedric asking questions. So it really wasn't nothing too playful. They did the whole toilet paper song, and I was like, oh God, here we go with these two with this mess. And then from there, once they do that, Tawana gets a surprise from Sean. Sean ends up coming on stage and asked her to marry him right live on the show. And I was like, this was definitely planned. This was definitely produced. And I'm surprised that the Cosmopolitan actually approved this. But I guess the cameras are there. Maybe WeTV sponsored this night. So probably this is why they did it. But it was very staged, very silly. I'm just like, whatever. I don't care. Because, and another thing that I did not talk about, that I did not want to talk about, was Tawana going on that radio station promoting her podcast and talk about how her and Sean have known each other 30 years and all this. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. So that's why I didn't talk about that. So if y'all wonder James just skipped a scene, it's because it was nothing. I don't care about her alopecia story. I just don't, because at the end of the day,
Which
she
one is
talked
it?
about.
Did you shave your head in solidarity for your sister who we saw with dreadlocks at her passing? Or did you do it because you struggle with alopecia? Either way, we don't care. I feel like she's only saying something because there's been a lot of other celebrities who are actually more well known than she is who have come out about their alopecia struggles. More women are going bald. So this is not like a, oh my God, like there's women going bald, wearing buzz cuts, and still living in their true femininity. So I don't understand what makes Tawanda any more different from other women who are doing and are going through the same thing. I don't care to see her. I actually think they showed too much of her this season and it kind of ruined the show. You say you was here to honor Tracy, but you insisted on having yourself in the camera constantly. They never followed up on the end of this season finale with what happened with little Kevin. Nothing like I this was bad. This was just not good. It was not put together well.
I agree. It's not put together well. And since you're talking about that, yeah, let's talk about it. They didn't mention any updates on Lil Kevin and what's going on with this divorce, what's going on with the court cases, how's he's doing since his health condition happened on the show. Well, we know what's going on with him and his father. They were recently in an altercation about a week or two ago, and that made the blog. So we know that there's something going on there that's not in presence of healing, which is so unfortunate, because I'm wondering, now that I'm talking about that, if this show really had an impact on the relationship even further than where it is, once they started filming the show. I'm wondering if that's what the fight was about. And if that's the case, it's sad because it's his only living parent. And once again, I felt like I can really blame Tawana and Trina for this. I really do. I feel like y'all could at least let him get his side of the story out and why he's, feeling the way he's doing. Even though he's speaking out on social media, it's still not the biggest platform like this would have been.
They could have given him at least 10 minutes, hell, 5 minutes to just say his piece and left it at that. But they gave him nothing. Not nice.
No, it's very true. So that's why I'm like, this really was, that's why I said this season was terrible. It was horrible. This is, y'all, I am so disappointed in the Braxtons, because I used to love watching them when they first came out. And even seeing the flashbacks in this episode with Tracy and Tamar, that is when we loved them. I don't understand what this is. This to me was a money grab. And I'm gonna say allegedly, because that's technically slander, but it was a money grab, allegedly. Like, I feel like this was not highlighting anybody in the best light. Not Tony, not Tamar, not Trina, not Tawanda, and not Miss E, and not even the late Tracy. It does not do anything. Sean scared me a bit when he tried to get down on one knee. He probably felt the knees trying to lock up. He did something because he couldn't get down to that ground quick enough. He was struggling with that, and so I'm. Wow.
John's engagement means nothing. You asked for her hand in marriage and for permission from her father 8 years ago or something like that when this show was last on air. Now, you proposing almost a decade later and conveniently on camera. It's the most disingenuous proposal on the planet.
I agree. That's like I said. Well, it matches the energy of the season. This whole season was just ingenuous. It was just like, why did y'all do this? Like, it cannot be for any other reason than a money grab to me. Like, I'm sorry, that's my honest opinion. Because this did not highlight them in the best way at all. This actually, I don't even want to. If they do get a season two, or if there's a continuation of this season, I'm not picking it up because I am not going to tarnish how I feel about them based on what they're showing on TV for desperation. Because that's what this feels like to me. This does not feel like anything of them being genuine with their fans or people who loved them and loved the show and loved what their show once brought to our entertainment. This does not feel like that. And I'm sorry for those of y'all who probably disagree with me. I'm sorry, but I don't feel like this reboot of the Braxtons was in any way, shape, or form or did justice to anything they had in prior years. I'm sorry, it doesn't. This was so distasteful. It was so wrongly put together. Not everybody was on board to do the show, i.e., Tamar. And it shows. It shows that there was no solidarity between the sisters. And the only thing that I really felt like was really the genuine moments was the moments with Tracy and maybe the grief counseling with Spirit. And even that was a mess in Trifold because not everybody felt in their ways about that. You had people who didn't want to talk about certain things. You had people who didn't want to take advantage of the grief counseling at all. It was just terrible, 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 terrible. So that was the end of the Braxtons. Mrs. Best, is there anything you want to add?
Hell no.
Well, there you guys have it. So this will be my final, the Braxtons. I'm not picking the show back up. I hung in there. I actually did it to the end. I If they get a season two out of this, or if they get a continuation out of this, I will be shocked to all hell because they shouldn't at all. I think they need to pump the brakes on this and they need to regroup. And if they are going to come back, they need to do it better than this because this was so poorly put together. And I'm not surprised that we TV, but I am just surprised that they really looked at this and thought this was going to be stellar because it was not. The promo trailer for the show fooled us. As Carlos said, it was all a lie. It was. I 100% agree with Joseph Felton here. It was a complete like manipulation to get us to watch this because they know we all love Tracy. They know that we all were going to whatever they were going to put out, we were going to support. It was a complete manipulation to the fans, and I feel like that's what hurts me the most about this is that I love Tracy. She was one of my favorites. She was enjoyable to watch, even when y'all decided not to even come back to the show. And she had Phaedra and all them on the show. It was great then. Like Tracy could have really took over this by herself. So this is not. I don't believe for one bit this is what she wanted for her son to be the brunt of some foolery between y'all and for y'all to expose all of his business like this and watching his health conditions. I'm sure Tracy, this is not how she would have wanted this to play out. This, even though this was probably real and raw in the truth, but it still was not for y'all just expose that boy. And I feel sorry for him because he's going through real life shit while y'all sitting up there collecting checks behind it. I'm hoping he's getting a bigger half of that check because he was the whole with Tawana with this scratchy this and scratchy that. I hope Scratchy got a big part of this check since you used this for a complete storyline for 7 episodes and conveniently left him out the last one. Just saying. Oh Lord, y'all done got my blood pressure. That's all I'm gonna say. Mr. Best, anything else I'm left out?
Hell to the no.
All right, y'all. So that's it. I'm gonna leave it at this. Thank you for thank you, Joseph Felton and Shayna for showing up for me and anyone else who's watching. I'm sorry I had to be negative like this, but at the end of the day, I had to say what I feel. So thank you so much. Make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe. I'm going to be doing Love and Marriage Detroit right after this, and then we'll be done for the night. So make sure you show up to that video, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye.